it's Peta here from Professional Babe, and today I thought I'd do a little bit of a different video that talks about what I do and I guess why I do it, so the journey that I've had to get to where I am today. So to give you a little bit of background information on me, or if you're new to my channel, my name is Peta. I'm 27 years old. I come from the Hunter Valley, and my full-time, I guess, day job would be I run an award-winning boutique Pilates studio called Pilates Evolution now. And when I'm not doing that, I'm either health writing for magazines, and then I've got Professional Babe. So there's been a little bit of an evolution, I guess why I've gotten here today. But to really get the full impact of the story, we've got to rewind probably about 10 to 15 years. So we're going to go back in time. So back in school, I was never your sort of popular girl as such. I had a great group of friends, but I always grew up a little bit bigger. So I was about a size 16 all through school, which in the US is a size 12. I grew up with lots of sort of food intolerances and sickness, and I guess the side effect of that was weight gain. I remember seeing Giselle Bundchen, so the supermodel, on TV and thinking, oh, I want to be her. And I guess that was really the change that I needed to really think about taking my health and my weight seriously. I had a talk with my mum about it. I joined a gym and I pretty much just started eating better. But I did lose quite a bit of weight. I remember getting on the scales maybe when I was 14. I was about 83 kilos. And I think I got down to around 70. In my final year of school, I ended up getting really sick again. I had an issue with my blood that they thought was leukemia. And that made me drop quite a bit of weight because I was quite sick. And I got down to about a size 8, finished school, started modeling and started working at JJ's. So I was doing that, Pilates, dancing, not really like thinking about what I was going to do for the rest of my life as you do when you're 18, but decided to do a Pilates course with Polestar Pilates Australia. And halfway through my course, I was also cheerleading at the time. I dislocated my knee cheerleading, which required full reconstructive surgery, which meant pins up my leg, a brace from my hip to my ankle, and crutches for 3 months, and being told that I was never going to dance again, which I guess was a lot to take in. And I guess from that moment, I had decided that I wanted to teach Pilates. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to work with dancers. I wanted to stop what happened with me sort of happening with them, and really focusing on strengthening in a supporting way using Pilates to do that. So I was offered a job, I declined, and I decided to teach in my area. I hired out a local bowling club, put an ad in the paper, started a MySpace page, and thought, this is it. I'm going to start my business, Pilates Evolution now. So I then started teaching about 6 classes a week. Even if there was one person booked in, I would still show up and imagine like that I had 20 beautiful students in my class. And it got to a point where I was just so sick of lugging equipment. I was sick of showing up at the bowling club and there being a wake in the room. The bowling club never wanted to kick the people out of the room, so me being 20 had to do it myself. That was daunting. So I did that for about 2 months, and then I'm like, this is ridiculous. I need to look for another place. So I leased a studio and I started classes there and pretty much just made a go of it. I'm like, right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to open a studio. I saw a gap in the market. No one around the Hunter Valley, like Maitland area, was doing it. There were a couple of studios in Newcastle. But it was a big step because there was a lot of gyms around. You could get a gym membership for $10 a week. People still thought Pilates at the time was a fad, which was stupid. I got so much, I guess, criticism and flack from people thinking that I was stupid or silly for opening a Pilates studio and it wasn't a real job. So I was teaching Pilates and I decided to start a little bit of a blog and a YouTube channel. And I was talking about Pilates, all things Pilates. So how to buy Pilates equipment, what to look for, how to find a studio, how to find an instructor. And I had a little WordPress blog attached to that, and that was my whole thing, was just Pilates, Pilates, Pilates. So then, because my whole life was about Pilates, I expected that my clients would as well. So I just could not cope with the fact that they would go home and they would not work out. The big thing for me was stretching. So what did I do? I decided that I was going to create a stretching DVD. I look back at the time and the amount of money and work that I put into, I probably would have been better off designing an app. But hey, hindsight, and it's a total lesson that I've learned. It's just celebrated its 4th birthday and I'm still so proud of it. But I had created my DVD, and in the works and in the production, like, these things take sort of months and months and months of planning. And I wanted to really research the routines and make sure that people were going to get results. I decided that I needed to go on a diet. And I look back at the time and I was already freaking tiny, so I don't know why I thought that I needed to diet. And I ended up getting quite obsessed about my appearance. My blog then formed into this whole, I guess, online diary with lots of pictures and telling all my readers about exactly every single thing I was eating, and it only could be organic. And I ended up getting down to about a size 6, which in US is a size 2. I shot my Pilates DVD, that all went smoothly, and 2 weeks later I actually had a breast augmentation booked in, got my boob job, and I think because I stopped, was so heavily medicated, I ended up just losing my shit, ending up with post-operative depression, which I didn't know could happen. It was just so full on. I was constantly sick, and because I felt like I was going to be sick, I wasn't eating. You had to eat with the medication you're on, and I ended up getting down to about 57 kilos, which was so tiny. And I was in a bit of a toxic relationship at the time, which didn't help. And I think when that ended, and there was a couple of things that happened around that time, my health sort of just fell into a heap. I was back eating again, I was off the meds, I ended up loving my chest, but I started to get a lot of different food intolerances. I was seeing a naturopath, I had to get all of this blood work done. My gut health was terrible, and I just reacted to every single thing that I ate. I had to take a lot of sort of different herbs and probiotics and medications to just get my body back. And as I was going through all of that, I guess my businesses picked up. I was also modeling at the time, so often I would have to get up at like 5:30 in the morning and just get myself ready, get my appearance all nice. I would go and teach a Pilates class. I'd have a change of clothes in the car. I'd drive to Sydney. Sometimes I'd have a modeling job booked or a casting. I would do that, come home, and then teach till 9 o'clock at night. So really just burning the candle at both ends, which didn't help me get any better. I started to realize that being thin didn't mean necessarily being happy, and it didn't necessarily mean being healthy. So there was this huge shift in what I would blog about, and I started to blog about things more about relationships with others and yourself and mindset. I was also health writing at the time for some magazines. It's a bridal magazine, White. They're a Hunter Valley based business. And in here I've got an article that I've written about living well, and a nice little thing in the magazine as well. That's me. I also modeled in it too. So I think for me, everything was going quite well. I had my Pilates DVD, I had the studio, and then I sort of felt like I wanted to just, I guess, spread my wings a little bit more. Although I love Pilates and all things about health, I would always look at beauty bloggers and fashion bloggers, and that whole, I guess, idea of talking about things like that just seemed so appealing. I also was looking at Instagram and seeing that people would be considered experts because they looked great in a sports bra and they were thin, and I guess part of me just wanted to move a little bit away from that. I didn't really like how I wasn't considered an expert in my field because I didn't post half naked on Instagram. And I don't mean that in a negative way, that people who do that don't have qualifications, but I just feel that we are in a little bit of a society where if you don't look the part or present the part that people aren't going to take you seriously, which I think is really sad. So I sort of felt like I wanted to do something a little bit different, which is why I started my blog at the time called Professional Babe. I talk about beauty products, and it was very different to what I was already talking about on Peta. So that blog was purely like Pilates and health and nutrition and stretching, and then this was more about the beauty and fashion and looking good side of things. So I was doing that, running the studio, having my DVD, really again just burning the candles at both ends. I had recently moved into a beautiful apartment in Newcastle. Work was going so well. I had about 120 regular clients that I saw every week for group, private and semi-private Pilates. Then we had a mining downturn in the Hunter Valley. I probably lost about a third of my client base. Which made me shit myself because I'm thinking, how can I pay for my rent for this beautiful apartment? And I just wasn't feeling myself. I knew that something was up. Everyone kept saying, oh, that was Audrey. So all my friends and family kept saying that I was stressed or I was being a hypochondriac, but I knew that something was up. I couldn't even get out of bed. Even walking to the fridge to get food, I felt like I was going to either throw up or faint. And I decided to go to my doctor, which is huge for me because I'm very stubborn with things like that. And she just took a look at me, told me to open my mouth, realized that my tonsils were bright yellow. And I went for a blood test and I had not only glandular fever, but I was that sick that it affected my liver and I had hepatitis, which I didn't even know that you could get if you were that sick. And I was told that I wasn't allowed to work for 3 to 6 months. Do you want to come say hi? And yeah, I was told that I wasn't allowed to work from 3 to 6 months. And I literally just lost it. So already I had started accruing a little bit of debt because of the client drop-off that we had. I worked out that I needed to just get out of my apartment initially and move back home because financially it was probably one of the things that I had to do. My landlord wouldn't budge, so we ended up going to court. I lost my whole bond, which I think was about $2,500. I then had to pay a couple of extra weeks of my lease, moving expenses. I was already behind in my rent. I came back to work. The Hunter Valley had a natural disaster, so again, another third of my client base couldn't come. I had ended up getting into a relationship, and I don't know about you, but sometimes like men can be band-aids, like band-aids. They just tend to mask shit that happens in your life, but if you get in a good relationship, everything is smooth. And I think when we broke up, shit really hit the fan because there wasn't one aspect of my life that I could look at and think, fuck, I'm actually happy with this. So I knew something had to change. I didn't feel like I was practicing what I was preaching. I didn't feel like a professional babe. I remember sitting down with one of my friends. We had a conversation and I worked out some goals and we worked out a plan of what I was going to do. So I sat down and created some goals, which pretty much was get out of debt, have some savings and lose weight. I had merged my 2 blogs together to create the new Professional Babe, which I guess is a resource that I wish I had access to. I revamped my YouTube channel and I made the blog and my YouTube channel specifically for professional women who want to have it all. So how to be a babe when you have the stresses of being a professional. So it balances, I guess, all of the health and the Pilates and the nutrition and the looking good advice. And I guess advice that I wish that I, like I said before, I had access to. So I guess that's it. So I guess why I'm here today and the story about how I got here. So I feel like life is such a journey and a process, and often I beat myself up because I'm not exactly where I want to be. I believe that social media, even YouTube and blogs, sometimes can give the impression that people are successful and they completely have it all. And every month on my blog, and even in this video today, I just wanted to give sort of my readers just a little bit of an insight into my life and how I really don't have my shit together, but I'm working towards it. And I think that everything is such a process. It mightn't as such be linear. Often life is very up and down or back to front, left to right before we actually get to where we want to be. But it's important to sort of have a goal and stay focused and get there. So yeah, I guess that's me. That's my story. So hopefully it wasn't too long-winded for you. And yeah, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back next week with our usual little, I guess, how-to satirical video. But what will we talk about? Who knows? You'll have to tune in and see next week. So I'll see you then. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.